For the Incomparable series, I think what impacted me the most, or what spoke to me the most, was when Pastor Jeff talked about how our condition, how we don't know everything, how we're weak, yet it's okay because we were created in a way that for us to trust God, and how in our weakness, His holiness, His power is perfected. And I think knowing that it's okay to be weak, and knowing that He'll work through my weakness and show His great power, I think helped me and motivates me to say, even though I mess up, or even though I may do something wrong, or I may get hurt, God's gonna work through that situation, and that He's gonna show His great power in the middle of what I'm going through.
There's no doubt about that in the Incomparable series, I've seen God's grace towards us in every little aspect in our lives. His love, it's so graceful that even though He knows we're imperfect, it's an amazing and incomparable love that He shows to our lives.
One thing that impacted me about the Incomparable series was how I guess I got a chance to see how much we try to compare God to everyday things. Like we try to compare Him to money or to like any other situation. And during this series I learned how everything He does is just so incomparable. There's nothing that we can compare to the things He does. How He loves us, nothing can compare to that. What He does for us, what He provides for us, we just can't compare. No amounts of money, nothing here earthly or physical can compare to that. And I think that that new vision of life has really changed me, because I really get to see a different side of God and not my own personal stuff.
What impacted me about God was His grace, His incomparable grace, because it made me think back that I have not had a panic attack in about a year now. And His grace is just marvelous, and it works in a lot of ways.
My dad lost his job, and he didn't have any work for 2 months, and Thanksgiving was coming up, and we didn't even know if we were gonna have a place to live because we couldn't afford the rent. And so I was just praying to God during Sunday service and during prayer and during worship, and I was just asking God to provide some kind of miracle, or just provide for our family, because we needed it the most. And that service just really spoke to me, because it was about how God just, when you feel like you have nothing, or when you feel like you have less than what you need, He just provided my dad with a job that Sunday, and we're gonna make it this month, and hopefully next month too. So I know that God provided that for my family, and He provided also a Thanksgiving dinner for us too, which we weren't gonna have. And I know that that was God moving in my life and in my family's life.
The sermon that really impacted me was the sermon that had to do with grace. Pastor Jeff really challenged me, and I think everyone in the congregation, to really show grace on the people that are around us. I know that being like Christ is a constant journey, and we constantly need to be working on ourselves to be able to be Christ-like, especially to the people around us, and being more forgiving and more graceful even when the people around us aren't. I think that He really opened my eyes and widened them to see that if we're not showing grace to the people around us, then who is, right? Because we're the ones who are trying to be like Christ, and we're probably the only people in their lives who will be able to, be loving instead of judging them.
Our God is greater, our God is stronger, God, you are high.